Ladies and gents, welcome back to another Earth 2 video. You'll have to excuse my voice and me looking a bit bedraggled. I've just got over COVID, but that's not the focus of this video. We're going to be looking at some of the recent changes to Earth 2, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why the people invested in Earth 2 should be a little bit worried. There's been a few advancements, and they are all cause for concern, realistically. So let's jump into those. But before we do, if you guys are enjoying this sort of content, hit the like button, subscribe, and comment for the algorithm gods. YouTube is a funny beast, and these things all massively help. Here we are, again, in the land of the tiny tiles, run by the overlord, Randagast.
Look, we're not a scam. We are not a scam.
Gandalf. A darkness has fallen over it. Nothing grows anymore. At least nothing good. The air is foul with decay.
It's always a good sign when the creator of the metaverse is telling you that it is not a scam, and that is the only assurance he can offer that it is not a scam. But I digress. So, there seems to be a bit of a buzz in the community of Earth 2 right now, where they're starting to get very unhappy with the fact that other metaverses are copying them or are doing better than them. And I just want to say something before we jump into that. I made a mistake in my last video, and it was brought to my attention by Nameless and some of the other people in the Earth 2 community. I was speaking about tiles being listed for 1 cent on the marketplace and people still not buying them. It has been brought to my attention that these are in fact bugged tiles that are in an area that shouldn't have been purchasable, yet somebody did manage to purchase them, but they're not able to sell them because no one else is able to buy off them because it's a locked area. So they can list them at 1 cent to appear at the top and have the title be an advertisement of sorts without ever being able to be bumped off the list. That's another beast in and of itself, which is wild that that's even a thing that's been allowed to happen because it's dumb. But there's other buzzes in the community right now. Another metaverse called Sandbox has been getting a lot of attention, and you've probably heard of it. I want to point out, I am not anti-metaverse, I am not anti-crypto, I am not anti-blockchain, I'm not even anti-NFTs. I am anti-NFTs in their current form. I myself am heavily invested in crypto. As many of you in the Discord will know, I am very heavily invested in certain cryptos. So I'm not against it. It's the future whether we like it or not. And the same goes for the metaverse. The metaverse is coming, whether we like it or not. Whether it should be a thing or not, it is coming. It is the future. And this is kind of proven by Sandbox, that has been stealing the thunder of Earth 2 for the last month. Sandbox has absolutely rocketed to success in the metaverse space, pioneering the way of the metaverse. There seems to be confusion in the Earth 2 Discord why everybody is buying into Sandbox, but there's not so much hype around Earth 2. For example, the parcels of land in Sandbox are going for thousands of dollars a piece. The tiles in Earth 2 are not. And to me, it's incredibly confusing that that they're not putting 2 and 2 together. Sandbox has a use case. If I tried to sell you land in Sandbox in a game where you can play games, that's infinitely more valuable than buying land off me in Earth 2, where currently there's still nothing to play. You get about 10 seconds of gameplay every day if you really try to maximize the amount of time it takes you to do those things without putting more money in daily. So that's utterly confusing to me. This is definitely a lot of hopium, copium, and sunk cost fallacy. But I'm sure the Moon Boys, the Moon Bros, the Earth 2 zealots will tell me otherwise. But let's dive further into what's going wrong here. As I told you in the last video, I made a point along with Kira, Josh, Big Fry, Sid Alpha, and all the others at Upper Echelon Gaming all made a point. The investors in Earth 2 do not give a toss what game is coming. All they care is that a game is coming so that their property values go up. They are invested in the money side of things, not the game. They are here to prey on the hopes and dreams of people buying into this game when it eventually comes to fruition. And they themselves have proven that. So in December, they purchased Drone, and they announced that this would be ground zero for their metaverse. This should excite the entire Earth 2 community, because this is the first look at what their game is going to be, what the game they have invested in is going to be. How many people do you think played Drone? I'll let you take a guess. In fact, we don't need to take a guess. We've got the stats on Steam, and I left it a month purposely so that it wasn't just a small sample size. We are looking right now at the accumulative play, such as like the average players over a month and the peak players over each month accumulatively. This should be terrifying for anyone invested in Earth 2. Full stop. This should be absolutely terrifying. Let's take a look. October and November. There was speculation in November that Earth 2 were buying Drone. October, not so much. So let's take October as the last real month that Drone was an independent thing, that it was its own player base and its own entity. Average players per month, 1.3, with a max concurrent of 4 players. Now, that's pretty abysmal. It's pretty bad. You know, November, there's rumours stirring of this. We go up by not even a whole player average that month. Yes, it's jumped 41%, but that's 41% up from 1.3 average players. And that reflects with the peak players, which have doubled for that month. December, when it was announced and confirmed that they had bought this game, Drone, the game. 2.8 average players. 50% gain over the last month. 10 peak concurrent players. They managed to muster up an extra 2 players. We'll say 6 from before it was known that they were getting this, or before it was rumoured that they were getting this. That's all they could do. And that trend has continued into the last 30 days. This, to me, just confirms that people don't care what the game is. The people who are truly invested in Earth 2 just don't care. This is what your game's going to be. And they don't care. And this really echoes a sentiment that I've said from the beginning. And the Earth 2 zealots can disagree with me all they want. The reason you're not getting any gameplay features is because it won't increase the amount of current investors investing more money. All it will do is make new investors buy out the old investors who are cashing out on the profits of something somebody wants. As long as nobody wants to buy tiles off other people, new people will keep buying in. You'll be in this sand trap where you just really can't get out of it. Nameless from a Guidebook Gaming did a survey, a customer satisfaction survey. He does risk analysis for his job, so it was a very in-depth survey that basically got a kind of risk analysis survey off of everybody who is invested in Earth 2. And people aren't happy. The people who bought in, the influencers, very happy. They're making money off their referral codes. They've made a lot of money off buying in first before everyone. A good 90% aren't happy because they've come in later. They're not making the money that they came in to make. And the people who came in for the game, as minuscule as that amount will be, are incredibly unsatisfied because there is no game at all. It's bewildering to me. It's utterly bewildering that this is even something that needs to be contemplated by people. You've got developers that don't tell you diddly squat about what's going on, so nobody even knows what's coming, when it's coming. Every acquisition that this company has made is just kind of writing on the wall as to what they're trying to acquire. We'll get to one of those after this. The main acquisition I want to talk about is Polygon Studios. They haven't acquired them, despite what people are saying. Polygon Studios are paying them up to $1 million. I don't believe they're even paying them the full $1 million, because let's be honest, at a glance, this is not a project that's going to succeed. But let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say they gave them a full $1 million. What can they do with $1 million that they can't currently do with the multiple millions that they have sat in their bank account? What is that million going to change? They've made no acquisitions for game developers. Now, despite the drone team, which by the way are working on the drone implementation into the Earth 2 tile system, which they already said they'd got people working on, but they're not listed on the website. In fact, let's go and look at who is listed on the website. Okay, here we are. Now, I have been told multiple times, oh, you're lying about all the devs being sacked. Earth 2 has between 50 and 100 devs. Now, if you have these devs, why are they not listed on your Our Team page? Well, it's because they don't exist. I've had it in good faith from multiple moderators, which, by the way, the moderators of Earth 2 are as skeptical as some of the YouTubers, and they're not very coy with information that they actually know. They come and straight up tell us. I'm not going to out which ones. I'm sure that you can probably surmise which ones they are, but even they are skeptical, and they come and straight up tell us that Phase 3 isn't being worked on by anyone. Hasn't been. The devs that they claim they have 50 to 100, they straight up don't. The only devs that are listed here are the ones that they have acquired from Drone. Omar Rahim. We'll get to him in a minute because this gets wild. Community managers, UI, UX design, which is all that the game is right now, UI. And they can't seem to even get that right. But I digress. Mapbox Guru, which is pretty much 90% of their game. Senior game developers, these are all from Drone. So these have only come aboard in the last 2 weeks to a month. There's just nothing of substance on this page. Shane Isaac's got a picture of him from about the 1960s, which, you know, that's a great help. I don't even know why. Mark Bennett is himself Earth 2. So for anyone saying to me, oh, they've still got devs, they absolutely don't. This is their entire dev team listed right here. Otherwise, they'd list the rest. Why have they listed an entirely acquired team? Just complete BS. That's the end of that. Until they want to come out and list their team, you can't blame me for saying otherwise. But I said we were going to get on to Omar Rahim. This is someone who has been put on a pedestal as he was acquired, and his acquisition kind of like headline was he was acquired from Binance. He wasn't. He'd left Binance, or he was sacked. I don't know what terms they ended on, but that's not even the important bit. The bit that's important is the bit that they didn't tell you about, which was his previous endeavor, Energy Mine. He is the CEO and founder of Energy Mine. It was founded in 2016, and this kind of all fizzled out in 2020. Now, there's a reason that this is incredibly important. Because this was basically a giant rug pull. I remember being alerted to this way back when a friend tried to get me into this. I can't remember if it was a referral or just a suggested, you know, hey, look into this. And as soon as I started looking into his past, this is an absolute dead ringer that something is wrong. Because I remember this disappearing and fizzling out into nothing. Smoke and mirrors. This raised $16 million for the energy token. The concept here is complete BS and doesn't make much sense anyway, as with most crypto startups. It basically rewards you for saving energy by giving you a thing on the blockchain that, as people have pointed out, would probably outweigh the electricity savings in pure blockchain power, depending on the blockchain. So they get rid of Tanner after 4 months of knowing he's a scammer. They finally get rid of him. Less than a week later, they then hire Omar Rahim, whose history is he did something at Binance and wasn't there very long, less than a year, which is a bad sign. Like, that's a really bad sign that this guy was not even there a year at Binance. I believe his contract was probably terminated due to something like this, or he was let go after his period because of people finding out about this. So people bought into this, and very shortly after, all communications were cut. Like, if we go down to the bottom here, their videos, where is it? They had videos on here. There you go. How it works. All their videos in all languages have been delisted and removed. Now, this shows that they're no longer operational, because this site hasn't been updated in years. And I've had people come to me saying that they had invested in this or had been looking into this at the time. And there's a lot of posts that were on here or that were on Twitter or elsewhere that have been removed. They've straight up astroturfed all their social medias and just removed important communications, which were apparently mostly promises of what this was going to be and when people would start to see their returns on what they've put into this. Now, with there being no proof of this, you have to take that at face value, as do I. It could be that these never existed, but with the amount of people that are telling me that these absolutely did exist and that they've all been removed, and these videos are pretty much proof that a lot of things were removed, I find it pretty compelling that they did actually rug pull with this, because they have gone ghost after a certain point, no communications, and let me go and show you the statistics of this token. Now, here we are on CoinMarketCap, looking at the energy token. This is the range in time where they mysteriously disappeared. Completely ghosted and vanished. This looks like they just exited at the highest price of their token and just ran, leaving others holding the bag. I mean, if we look at all time, it still stands that this is when they did a runner. Now, here's the thing. As usual, the Earth 2 community aren't even remotely concerned about this because it doesn't matter. Oh, stop blaming someone else for their past. Look at their future. Which to me is one of the stupidest things I've heard come from the Earth 2 community. Because when you're looking at something speculative, a market as speculative as Earth 2 and crypto, you have to look at someone's past to make assumptions on their future. I can't be alone in thinking that. I can't be. If someone who is a known criminal comes up to me, and I know he's a known criminal, and says, I'm going to sell you a Ford Raptor for £35. I promise it's not stolen. My mind is immediately going to jump to the fact it's stolen because, one, he's an ex-convict. He's got a history in theft. So that's going to be my assumption. Is it 100% that he's a thief now and he's going to steal my money? No. But it's very fucking likely. If someone with a very good track history of selling cars at a good affordable price with good maintenance on the cars comes up to me and says, I'm going to sell you a Ford Raptor for $30, I am much more likely to believe that this is the case, that this guy is legit. Probably not for $30, but you see my point here. When you are speculating on buying something, by the way, this is not meta advice, not a meta advisor. This is just advice in general. If you are speculating on an investment, you absolutely need to do your research. The Earth 2 community have shouted that from the rooftops. Do your research. Yet whenever we do our research, we're told that we shouldn't be doing our research, and it doesn't matter. This matters. And this really shows what direction Shane wants to go in with Earth 2. If he wanted this game to be a game, he'd be hiring game developers. We'd be hearing about acquisitions of legitimate game developers. We've not heard about a single one. An entire game studio got acquired as part of a group bundle with the game. The game was only going to be sold if they agreed to take the team with it, because they have to develop the game that's been bought. So while Earth 2 have acquisition of those developers, they even admitted they're using them to develop drone. I am astounded daily by the nonsense that I hear from the Earth 2 community. And I want to talk directly to the Earth 2 community because I know they watch the videos. I know you do. This is a legitimate question. If somebody offered you the money that you'd put into Earth 2 for you to get out of Earth 2, would you take that money? Because despite the fact that I was wrong about that 1 cent tile listing bug, people are cashing out at 70% off just to get their initial money out of the game. And if anyone's in the position to do that, hell, if that was me, I would do that. I would get my initial investment out of that platform. Because here's something that's going to be very telling of the future of Earth 2. They're listing their crypto soon, Essence. The blockchain doesn't lie. CoinMarketCap doesn't lie. It will show the exact trade volume, daily, weekly, monthly, the exact price, what people perceive the value of that crypto to be. And I can tell you this, it's probably going to spike day one when people buy it up, you know, expecting it to pump. When they realize there's no use case for it and nobody wants to buy it beyond trying to pump it, it's going to stagnate. It will slowly drop until they add a use case, which evidently they're not going to. They have no need or reason to add a use case because it doesn't benefit them. It only benefits the investors. And I have a feeling that when this cryptocurrency is listed and it does stagnate, you'll see quite a lot of people trying to get their money out, in essence, trading it off to other cryptos to just try and stem the flow. Because currently your account balance is determined by Earth 2. $1 real dollar is worth $1 Earth 2 dollar. It's pretty stable until there is a big marketplace shift. They can't control the value of the crypto. So when it inevitably tumbles after its initial pump, just imagine how many people are going to try and get out before the dip. I speculate that it's going to be quite a large majority, which will make it tumble further. Of course, you'll have your diamond hand bros that will just buy the dip. But if it really stagnates and that dip never undips, I think we might see quite a few of the big content creators start to come to the proper realization that unless a crypto is backed by something tangible with physical value and an actual use case, it's just a shitcoin. Ladies and gents, this sandbox that I discussed earlier on is a topic I actually want to cover, because I don't want to just be sat here saying Earth 2's rubbish, here's why. I want to show you what other companies are doing in actually taking steps towards a connected metaverse. Like I say, it's happening, it's going to happen. And I really want to dive into the sandbox, because they are, without a doubt, making the biggest leaps towards this metaverse that we're going to have. So I'm going to show you a quick trailer here of what this actually is. Now, if you've ever seen the game Hypixel, it was meant to be a clone of Minecraft, but better. This game is basically Hypixel on steroids and on the blockchain. Already in Sandbox, you can build stuff. You can build on your land. You can invite friends over. You can play mini games. They have a scripting tool and a voxel editor to keep a consistent art style. Creators can create things in the Vox editor, animate things in there, and add scripted behavior to AI. And it's all within parameters. So you can't get crazy things. If you've got something that's got a high score in health, it's going to have a low score in attack. You have to distribute points to all these things, meaning you don't just get wild, infinite god weapons, because who's going to make a crappy weapon, right? Everything is balanced and it has trade-offs. You can only add a certain amount of traits based on a point system. Already, this is allowing people to create things that have meaning, that have purpose, and that aren't unbalanced. A world where you can interact with people. The fact that the Earth 2 guys are confused why this is making people more money than Earth 2 blows my mind. This is, for all intents and purposes, a social game with an economy that works, with a crypto behind it that is absolutely blossoming because of its use cases in Sandbox. The Sand token is absolutely rallying in price because they're doing things that have meaning. They're tying their crypto to use cases. Well, that's it. They're tying their crypto to use cases. You can do things with it. Next up, create new digital jobs. This is why people are attracted to this platform over Earth 2. You can create assets in a certain format for this metaverse, and you make money off people buying them as NFTs. It is creating digital jobs for people who want to contribute to the metaverse. Ladies and gents, the metaverse is coming. It's not going to be Earth 2, though. Earth 2 is stumbling at every minor hurdle, and other companies are just stealing their thunder by doing what they said they were going to do and doing it better. If any of you own stuff in Sandbox, whether it be land, items, or just fun experiences, definitely contact me on Discord, as I do want to dive into this and take a better look into what they actually have to offer so I can make a true comparison to Earth 2. With that said, ladies and gents, I hope you have an awesome day and a fantastic week. As I said earlier, hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you're a real good egg, subscribe to my Patreon. You guys absolutely rock. I'm going to be live after this video over on Twitch, playing some games, chilling with you guys, and discussing this video. If that's not your cup of tea, I will see you in the next video.